What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Quadcast, the show where we get real, get raw, and get loud about mental health, substance use, and the fight to take our lives back.
Each episode, we're cutting through the stigma, dropping knowledge, sharing stories, and bringing the heat with guests who have lived it and aren't afraid to talk about it.
So turn it up, lock in, and let's break barriers, spark change, and build a community that refuses to stay silent. You're tuned into the Quadcast, and let's get into it.
You can find us on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, or email us. The Quadcast is always looking for new guests, whether you're individuals that have experienced it, you're in law enforcement, treatment programs, nurses, doctors, or anyone that just has something to say. Come share your story with us on mental health or substance abuse.
Warning, there's cussing in this video. If you don't like swear words, well, you're
watching the wrong damn show.
All right, welcome back to the Quadcast for Season 2, because quitting now would have been the responsible choice, and we clearly don't do that here. We're starting this season off with Jesse Gunnoe, a guy from Greenbrier County who spent 3 years underground in the coal mines. Yes, actual underground, not your I hate my office job underground. Former coal miner, full-time grinder, no pun intended, husband, father, and living proof that some people really do wake up every day and say, yeah, let's go do some dangerous shit for a paycheck. While most folks were complaining about Mondays, Jesse was crawling through the dark, breathing coal dust, and treating his life and trusting his life to teamwork and machinery. God damn.
You want me to read that?
Let me get my dyslexia under control here. All right, well, I've done fucked that up. So here we go, Jesse Gunnoe. Jesse, if you want to introduce yourself and kind of give us a little bit of background, we'll get into it.
I'm Jesse Gunnoe, 31 from Greenbrier County. As Mike stated, I spent 3 years underground. Done just about everything except run a miner legally.
We're not looking for the legally here.
Yeah, I have to really watch
what
I throw out there. But, yeah.
And you and Croy, this is going to be the end of my podcasting career.
Short and sweet, to say the least.
Just got started. Time to hang her up.
But no, I'm basically just here to. Mac knows me. I'm not a cookie cutter. I'll be straight to the point. I won't sugarcoat nothing. The biggest misconception about working underground is what you see and not working underground. It's a completely different world when you live that lifestyle.
So basically what we're going to touch on today is a little bit of like the mental health side of things that go into it, just the thought process and the family life and stuff like that. But just kind of your insight, what led you to going underground and kind of what brought you away from it as well. So I've got a whole big list of questions. So if there's anything you don't want to answer, just say fuck you and we'll move on.
All right.
You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. So as you stated, you grew up in Greenbrier County. What was life like before you went into the coal mines?
Before going into the mines, it was lifting. I mean,
when you say lifting, you're a big fella. What are you lifting? Rocks,
weights, powerlifting.
Big old Flintstone.
This is the hardest part for me is because, like, you know me, you know what I've been about for years. I guess this is to a broader audience, and
it
will be.
Okay,
it will be.
I don't know what your definition of broad is.
Like 40, 45.
Oh yeah, we got more now.
But I was powerlifting. That was pretty much my life.
How long did you powerlift?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Hurt your back any?
No, just my hip. My hip and my heart. My heart was the main reason I kind of hung it up.
Oh really?
I mean,
what was?
I was working at the paper mill, and one day I just kind of passed the fuck out.
Okay.
And I woke up at Lowmore, and I'd been having some blood pressure issues, which was weird because I was in the best shape of my life.
Right.
And basically the stress on my heart.
Nice.
And
I can see why you stopped.
Yeah. And then once I got that under control, I mean, contrary to how I look now, but once I got it under control, I started lifting again. I started working out again for a while until I went into mines. That was my workout then. But
So what influenced your decision to go into coal mining?
Benjamin Franklin.
Is that the sole reason?
That's pretty
Okay.
much. I mean,
cut and dry.
that's probably the top contributor. But I am 5th generation to do it. I was the last one in my family to do it. But
Gotcha. That kind of answers the next question. Did you have family members or role models in the mines? Obviously 5th generation. So just kind of a mental thing of, hey, I should probably try this out and see what it's all about, or just
I always told myself, like, I grew up in Boone County. We moved here when
that's where the men are men and the females are men.
We don't use deer calls, we use pill bottles type deal.
You can go down here to the Shell station at midnight and do that same thing.
Yeah. But no, it's a very different world, to say the least. Growing up in the coal fields as opposed to growing up here, up here feels almost privileged, and I hate to even say that, because I try not to use that word.
Sure.
I believe, you play the hand you're dealt. But I grew up in the coal fields, watched everybody I know go into mines, work in the mines growing up. And I always told myself, like, I'm better than this. And I don't feel cocky for saying that. I felt like I was better than doing that. Sure. I didn't want that for my life. And then
it's a rough lifestyle.
As I got older and growed up here, like, I watched all my friends that graduated, they're making stupid money, making stupid financial decisions. And I love stupid money and stupid decisions. So I'm like,
yeah,
maybe I should give this a shot.
Might as well.
But it was more of a mental thing too, as far as, I feel like I had to experience it.
Sure.
Because
so what expectations did you have before your first day underground of coal mining? Obviously, with 5th generation, you knew a little bit more about it than just going into it blind.
I knew I wouldn't say I went into it blind, but I expected it to be worse, I guess would be my first expectation.
Worse as in just harder than
the conditions more than anything. You watch all these movies and you watch all these like documentaries and everything, and you never hear the good about coal mining. All you hear about is the fatalities.
Sure.
The disasters, explosions, floods, blah blah blah.
As we sit here, I mean, the anniversary of the
Sago. Yeah, I think it was Sago.
So I mean, and then just a month ago, I had the one miner trapped because of flood. So
yeah,
that's the part that everybody sees. And
yeah, I mean that is an unfortunate part of it, but that I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here.
No, you're good. Yeah, talk away.
I've always treated every job that I've ever had, when it comes to a blue collar lifestyle, like I told you before we started, I was running the dozer mainly before, the situation I'm in now. But before, you can roll a dozer off a mountain anytime.
Sure.
I mean, I've slid off of slopes and put myself in some sketchy situations on a dozer.
There's dangers in everything that you do.
Exactly.
Driving to work's just as dangerous as doing the work.
My father taught me this when I was 16 years old, and it stuck with me my whole life. He always said, you have just as much risk getting killed going to work at Wendy's in traffic as you do logging, coal mining, anything with danger. He said it's all about keeping your head on a swivel and being aware of your surroundings more than anything.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like,
not saying it ain't dangerous, but
I mean, there is an elevated risk, but compared to skydiving, no.
Yeah.
It's about the same, and most people do that for fun.
Yeah, I've done some things underground. I think I'd rather do skydiving, to be honest. But yeah, for being honest.
All right. Did you consider any other paths before choosing coal mining? Like, did you have any options before you,
I did.
as you chose?
I did. I really looked into going lineman.
What stopped you from doing
The physicality of it mainly. As crazy as that sounds,
Mhm.
I couldn't see myself being on a power pole.
that? I mean,
I couldn't see myself climbing and doing that for a living.
yeah.
Like my wife's brother is a lineman,
Mhm.
and once I got with Michaela and just some of the stuff he'd show me and stuff, I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do that. I could do it, but I'm going to complain.
Yeah, it's still a rough lifestyle.
Yeah.
Shitty weather conditions, shitty work conditions all
Exactly.
the time. You never work in the fair weather.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people don't understand, that you're spoiled in the mines, because it's 55 to 60 degrees year round.
I could do that.
Like, it just snowed here, what, 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
You don't feel it underground. It's 60 degrees.
I might have to find a house underground.
Like, now it sucks when you come outside.
Oh, I guarantee it. It's
You
probably
know,
a shock.
You're on a rail ride and you come outside, it's colder than shit.
It takes your breath away.
It literally, and usually you're
Like jumping in
covered
a
in
cold
sweat.
swimming pool.
You're covered in
God.
sweat. The last place I worked, you're getting water to your titties, so you come out and you're basically a freeze pop.
Yeah. Shit.
But
That'd be rough. Do you remember your first day underground?
I'll never forget it.
What stood out the most?
As weird as it sounds, probably the smell.
The smell? Can you describe it?
Silica dust. I know you've smelled it.
Yeah.
I know you smelled it, and like that's the biggest thing in the mines that you got to watch out for. I don't care what anybody says, the silica dust. My first day, they took us to Canal Eagle, which is just outside of Charleston,
Mhm.
and you drive down a slope. It's all diesel rides,
Mhm.
so it's a little bit different. A lot of places don't have diesel, and you ride down a slope, 1,800 feet, I believe. I think it was 1,800 is what you drop. Then you ride a man trip to a section, whatever. And Chris Muncie was a section boss,
Mhm.
and he done something that you're not technically supposed to do. Not
Probably
to
a lot of that going on.
not to throw him under the bus there, but it was a good experience as a red hat.
Right.
And your first day. So in a room and pillar mine, you drive up, and then you turn it right and left, left and right, sorry, and you connect it. You make squares,
Okay.
And it all depends on your mine's, map, plan, cycle, however you want to describe it. But you're not supposed to be downwind of a miner. So
Okay.
you have an intake and a return. Your intake's what blows your fresh air in. Your return blows your bad air out. So he put us on the backside and let us watch the miner cut through and punch out into the next entry, which you're not supposed to be downwind of.
Right.
And it's like when you shoot a muzzleloader or you shoot a pistol, the smell of gunpowder.
Yeah.
But it's amplified.
Okay.
I know you've been around silica dust. Yeah. That's the only way I've ever known to describe it. It smells like gunpowder.
Interesting.
But I remember like it wouldn't say so much my first day, but like my first couple of days, adapting to that environment was awful. I mean, awful.
Like how? Like
The breathing.
just breathing.
Yeah, the dust was the only thing that bothered me, which I've had asthma my whole life.
Yeah.
And like when I was younger, especially, it was severe. So getting into all that dust and being around the dust before that, working with lumber and everything else, it was a lot to take in at first.
Is there any type of like claustrophobia, anxiety with it?
I never was. I always said I was claustrophobic, but underground, I never felt like I was claustrophobic.
Really?
No.
Interesting. Because like when I was in fire department, like that's claustrophobic as hell.
Yeah.
But I didn't really feel it there. But anywhere, like
I think
if I put a tight sweatshirt on now around a tight sweatshirt around my neck, I'll have an anxiety attack just because like where I had my trach strap, dude, it'll freak me out.
I guarantee you.
But like I never experienced any of it in the fire department.
No,
it's weird.
I think it's more of an adrenaline thing. Like
Yeah.
you have a goal, and that's what your brain's set to is
Yeah.
I have to do this, so you don't think about everything.
That would make sense.
Well,
What was the biggest shock transitioning into that line of work?
I would say one of the two things was the biggest shock for me. The sacrifices. Um, when they say you're home every day, so but you're not home,
Right.
if that makes sense. Like you might be home, but 9 times out of 10 you're sleeping.
Right.
It's
shift work.
And when I first started, especially, that's all I done. I was on day shift. I was driving an hour and 45 minutes to work.
Now, are those 10, 8, 10, 12
They're
hour
supposed
shifts?
to be 10s. Usually they're about 12 or 13. Usually. I started at Coalberg, was just a transfer mine.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the actual mining process, we didn't do that. We just transferred. We worked on belts,
Gotcha.
track, but we had to be there ready to go, dressed, ready to get on the ride by 6:50.
Gotcha.
So I was leaving Greenbrier County usually around 4:30 in the morning to get there.
It makes it rough.
Yeah, and 6 days a week too. On top of that,
how steep was the learning curve when you first started?
No, it was awful. It was awful.
Just everything, like
it's a lot to take in. And it sounds bad to say, but because I've been that guy, so I feel like I can say it. It's hard to work around a lot of dumbasses too, and you will. I worked with people that didn't know how to use channel locks.
Jesus.
You assign 5023 now in every underground mine to use hand tools. So that was a big shock to me.
Sure.
Like, how the fuck do you not know how to use channel locks? You look at them.
Some people didn't grow up holding their flashlight.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey. And we all have those. We all have those dyslexic moments where we're like, "Oh, I went the wrong way," but no, I'm talking like.
I normally do it. I normally sit there before I start. Righty tighty.
Yeah.
Just so I don't look like a dumbass.
See, Ricky Beheeler, he works for Alpha. We were putting in a belt head.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been underground for a little bit at this time, but I never put in a belt head.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to blow the holes with torches for the bolts. And I was trying to connect the nut to the bolt, but I couldn't see it. So I'm like up underneath this thing with a pair of channel locks, and I'm holding the top of another pair, and I'm trying to turn it, and it just wouldn't go. And he looked at me, and he said, "Have you ever opened a bottle of pop?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And then he says, "Look, you twist it this way, you loosen it, right?" Yeah. He said, "You twist it that way, it tightens, right?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Then what the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know." Okay. I said, "This is all about sheer luck that this thing has even came together."
That's my first day.
Because I remember, I'll never forget. He looked at me. He said, "Why the hell are you on a belt head crew getting ready to open a new section if you've never put one in?" I said, "I don't know. You're my boss. You put me here."
This is your
I said,
fault.
"The whole crew that we have has never worked on a belt head. And you chose us." So
those are those decisions you regret the moment you hit the problem.
I didn't regret it. I'm a sponge. Oh, my bad. I was a sponge. I tried to soak up everything that I could because I wanted to be able to be efficient at everything in the mines that I could do. Because I was just a team player,
right?
But not to get off subject, but going back to what you cited, working with people and trying to learn at the same time. It was hard for me because I've always been a more hands-on type of learner.
Yeah, me too.
But I had to learn to become a visual learner, and that was a rough process because you're trying to learn. You're in a very tight space. Your entries are usually 20, 22 foot wide, depending on if they're legal or not. Usually 20 foot wide is your legal limit.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be at an entrance that's on an intersection that's already connected. You could have a buggy coming this direction and a buggy coming that direction and a scoop coming behind you, and you could be standing there and you gotta wait for a crossing period.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got your little blinky light that MSHA swears it's going to save your life.
Yeah.
And you got your light on your hard hat, but who's to know if Ricky over here ain't hungover as hell?
Had a long night and didn't see it.
And Bobby over here is on Suboxone, so like, he's clean, but he's on Suboxone. You know, like, and then you've got Red back here that's never been on a scoop until yesterday, and he's having the time
like hell.
having the time of his life. Then here's you. You're like, fuck. I'm in the middle of all these idiots. You know, like.
What kind of training or mentorship helped you early on?
This is where everybody's going to say that I was blessed, but it was more of a curse than anything. So I started, like I said, at Coalburg.
Like I said, our group is very tight knit here.
So I
won't be that many eyes watching you.
So I started at Coalburg, and they transferred us to Peerless Rachel Mine, which was just over the holler from us at Tony's Branch. And I did not fit in there. Like, I didn't fit in. I had one person that would even look my direction. And
why is that?
It's
different.
It's a
different world.
It's like an initiation process. When you're a red hat, you ain't shit.
Gotcha.
That's just how you're treated.
No, I get that. I mean, that makes sense to me.
And that makes
sense to the 5 people that are watching.
Yeah. That was hard for me to get used to. And I tried to work with the best I could, but like, there was things that I knew was more efficient,
right,
and you would get ignored, and then you'd end up breaking your fucking back trying to do something when you could have done it the simple way.
I can see that.
And so that didn't work out, to say the least. So my brother was third shift section boss at Quinwood Coal.
Okay.
So I went to work with him. And working with my brother, everybody was like, everybody's going to think immediately, sure, oh, this guy's going to get special treatment. No. My brother worked the dog shit out of me. And
good old brother.
I mean, just cussed, screamed, hollered at me continuously. Like,
I just treated you like
Sam,
any of
Sam
the
Herndon was an electrician. And like, him and the boy that worked with him, like, they just made it out to make my life hell every day. Like, I love Sam to death.
Sam wouldn't do that.
I love Sam to death, but he did. He made it a point every day. Somehow, it just pissed me off. So, like,
I'm gonna make sure I tag Sam in this.
One of the funniest moments I think I ever had with him is, like, he was an electrician. Well, he was an electrician apprentice. Mm-hmm. Apprentice at Quinwood. If you was on the maintenance side, you was an electrician, whether you knew what you was doing or not. Like,
rock it out.
And Sam will tell you, Tyler will tell you, anybody that worked over there, like, that place was a shit show.
I can believe it. And
you fended for yourself most days. Like, you just figured the fuck out or you didn't. And
the shift was going on.
Yeah, you were going to roll right through it, or you was just going to sit there and watch. Either way, you was there for it. And we needed hoses for acetylene and oxygen, because I can't remember what we were cutting. My brother sent me with a scoop. He said, go get the hoses and tanks and everything and bring them back up here. Well, when I found these hoses, and this is God's honest truth, Sam's going to tell you I'm lying, but this is God's honest truth. When I found them, it looked like a bait caster's backlashed. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I threw them in the bucket, grabbed them, went back. My brother done what he needed to do. We done what we needed to do, blah, blah, blah. I go back and get them. My brother was like, I'm going to put you on a buggy. We're going to load out some coal. And this time I'd never been on a buggy before. Well, I had, but not, I'd moved it back and forth a little bit.
Right.
I had never ran one. I'm like, hell yeah. I was like, let me go drop these hoses and stuff off, and I'll be back. So I go to the power center, and there's Sam. I get the hoses, and I pull them out, and I put the bottles, and I hang them up behind the power center right by their toolboxes. And I hear Sam, he's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm like, oh no.
Like, son of a bitch.
I'm like, something's wrong with the power. You know, I come to the curtain. He was like, who put these hoses here? I was like, I did. He's like, you ain't even gonna roll them back up? I was like, no, they wouldn't roll up when I found them. And he was like, you're gonna roll them up? I said, no, I'm not. I said, this is how it was when I found them. I didn't do this. I'm not fixing this. So he lights into cussing me. You know, we go nose to nose. I'm like, you're not gonna fucking cuss me, Sam. I'm like, you know, this is stupid. I was like, this ain't even my shit. Like, why are you worried about it? And he's like, well, it's just a fact of, you know, you look out for the next guy. And like when he said that, I was kind of like, yeah, I get that. I kind of stopped.
Makes sense.
And I was,
you kind of got a point there.
He was like, watch, I'll do this when you do that. We'll be done in 10 minutes. And I'm like, all right. So we get these untangled and unwrapped, and we sit there and we fix them up or whatever. And he's like, all right, now go do what you got to do. He's like, I'm sorry for yelling at you. He's like, I swear to God, you ever tell anybody I said that? I'm like, no, I get it. It's fine. So then they put this other guy on a buggy, and I ended up literally standing there shoveling the tailpiece for 2 hours. And every time I seen Sam, like after that, I had a shovel in my hand. I just wanted to hit him with it. It's just like an uncontrollable urge just to smack the fuck out of him with it.
You'll have a protective order against you after this.
But it was just little lessons like that, you know, that
sure
they actually helped out in the long run.
Let's see here. How did the job affect you physically and mentally over time?
Physically, I mean, people had seen me and stuff. Obviously, I was in good shape. I hurt a lot.
So your vocabulary.
But I was on move crew, and going from powerlifting, like my body went through it with powerlifting.
Sure.
Move crew, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're moving belt structure, you're moving belt power cables.
Heavy shit.
And there ain't nothing light. I don't care what even a 42-inch piece of structure.
I got some mining belt out there if you're just itching to move something.
It depends on if it's 42-inch belt, it's not that bad. But if it's like the 60 and triple ply,
I think it's only 42.
Yeah, that ain't that bad. I could drag 125-foot piece of it by hand if I had to on flat ground or downhill, but not uphill. But you know, when even 42-inch structure, so like you got a 42-inch piece of belt out there, it runs on 42-inch structure. 42-inch top weighs 72 pounds, I believe, and your top roller it's 3 cans and a structure, and your belt rolls over it, obviously. And you got 2 cans like this and one in the middle, so it ain't that bad. But when you move 15 or 20 of them, that adds up. And then you're moving rails that weigh 40 pounds a piece.
Right.
Each section of a belt, you have 2 rails, 2 tops, and a bottom roller.
Okay. And
a spreader that connects them. You want to move crew, you always go for the spreaders and the rails. You let the next guy get the tops. A lesson I caught on to very quickly once I got my black hat. You always let somebody else get the tops.
How long did it take to get your black hat from a red hat?
It takes 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, it's 6 months. They say 6 months and 108 shifts. You'll have 108 shifts in like 4 months probably.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes 6 months to take your test through the state.
Keep on.
The question was typical work day, right?
No.
I'm sorry.
Quit cheating.
I'm sorry.
Don't read the notes. Those are top secret. You didn't see my post earlier. I put top secret over top of it.
Oh, my bad.
No, it was how did the job affect you physically and mentally?
But physically, I wouldn't say it bothered me that bad, other than, you know, just routine soreness. Yeah. You know, when you move belt and power in and out 6 days a week.
No, anything's going you down.
You know, once I got good on equipment, even being in a scoop, you know, they think, oh, you're just sitting in a scoop. Even being in a scoop, you get the shit beat out of you.
Right.
I mean,
it ain't like it
ain't like driving through your driveway.
Yeah, it ain't like Cadillac.
Yeah, and you know, stooping, bending, being on your knees sometimes. It adds up. Don't get me wrong.
I got some fucking freeloaders over there.
Sorry, I had one of them squirrel moments there. But
those are unemployed freeloaders.
I got you.
They don't do a damn thing.
But mentally, it didn't really bother me that bad until I had my daughter.
Right.
I mean, even when Michaela was pregnant, I mean that was my main focus was, I'm here. This is what I'm here for.
So, what part about it bothered you after you had your daughter?
The not being around her a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. In the beginning, I wasn't around her a whole lot.
Yeah.
I was, but I wasn't. I was home, like I said, but I wasn't home.
Really home.
And once I went to Hoodow, I get home usually around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning if everything went good.
Yeah.
By noon, I'm asleep and I'm waking up, eating dinner, showering, going back to work. And that was really hard on me, especially.
Sure.
But I kind of blocked it out in my head, like, well, I'm just giving her the life that I didn't have.
Right.
So,
what was your stress level like before starting that career?
it was pretty low. I would say it was pretty low.
How much of a change was there after you?
A lot.
Oh.
A lot.
Yeah, I was way just being tired, keeping up with everything after you come home.
Yeah, trying to live your life outside of the mines and inside of the mines, which I was thankful. I'm still thankful. I have a great partner. Michaela really held it down. But it was hard. I was a miserable asshole most of the times. Because it don't matter how much you sleep on Hoodow, you're always tired. And then on top of all the labor you're doing, the hours worked, and this and that and the other, and other stresses that you can't control, things that just happen. But I was miserable for a long time.
I was hanging down there for a second. I heard you.
Yeah.
I was trying to read, and your words were moving. I'm telling you, ADHD, man. What beliefs or attitudes did you have about mental toughness back then?
What do you mean back then? Like in the mines?
While you were in the mines compared to before?
It sounds really bad to say when I say it out loud.
You ain't gonna turn me away from it.
But it's very cocky. And I was fortunate it didn't get me hurt because I always kept my head on a swivel. Like, I've done some sketchy shit, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But if I truly, truly felt like I might not come out of this alive or I might get really, really fucked up, I wouldn't do it.
Sure. That's how I've lived my whole life.
Yeah. But I went in with the attitude that, like, I'm going to come out of here no matter what. If I have to crawl out of here, I'm going to come out of here. And that it kind of, you don't really mean to have that attitude, but it kind of builds to you.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like, eventually you kind of have to put yourself in that mind state of where, like, you block everything else out.
Sure.
And you focus on
block out the risks.
You do. You almost, you don't, I wouldn't say you become a certain extent. You become complacent because that will get you killed.
Sure.
But I will unwillingly admit that, especially towards the end, I was very, very complacent in my environment. I was comfortable, and sometimes too comfortable because I was on a pillar panel when I left.
So, and you got lucky.
Yeah, I mean,
and I can say that in my law enforcement career, you get comfortable. You get tired. You're stressed out all the time. Like, you just going to work, going through the motions, and
you become a robot.
You stop and look back, and you're like, shit, I could have just got me killed.
Yeah, and I didn't really see it until you have like a red hat come in, and then you got to train them.
Yeah.
Or you have somebody that comes in, like we had a dude come in, Black Hawk. Loves the little fucker to death. I hated him in the beginning. I was ready to kill him 2 days in. But he had never really done coal mining. He had worked underground, but he was through Genmar. He done like seals and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And he come to move crew. 5 foot tall, big dick swinging. And we knocked him down really quick. Let's be honest, but
man, isn't it fun just to watch the life drain out of somebody like that?
it is. And then that's the shitty part about it. If you go in with that attitude, they're gonna beat it out of you.
It's kind of the same way in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
You go into it not really understanding all the risks that's in it. I had a boot that I trained, and he missed a firearm on a female one time, and she had it shoved way down in her pants. I mean, I would have probably missed it too if I would have searched her, but we had a long talk after that, and boy, we spent a long time searching females after that. Just because if I wouldn't have had a good rapport with that female, like it could have went totally different. And thank God I did, because she brought it back. She was like, "Hey, I got to tell you something." I'm like,
"Wait a minute."
All right, go ahead. She's like, "Hey, I got this gun in my pants." I'm like, Cool. Have you been searched already? She was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Nice." And I put it in my front seat and went up, grabbed the boot by the back of the shirt collar and said, "Where'd that come from?" I said, "Out of her fucking pants. You ever do that again, I'll shoot you my fucking self."
That's just one of them things.
Like, I mean, I was back under the back hatch of my cruiser putting my dog up, and here she comes up. "I tell you something." I'm like, "What's the secret?" Y'all okay? Like, no.
See, I always compared the fireboss on the ground to a cop.
Okay.
Just because like a fireboss, the first person goes in. Before anybody else can go in, everything has to be firewalked. I don't think that's the right term, but everything has to be walked. Any source of power, track, travel way has to be checked, has to be initialed, dated on. There's date boards, use chalk. And you can imagine where I'm going with this. 9 times out of 10, and I've seen it myself. You walk in, it's good. And then somebody goes, "What?" I don't know. I guess I just look at it from a pride thing.
I would take it. I would compare that to
if it was
doing
me,
truck checkoffs at the firehouse.
If it was me doing it, and I've always stood by this, and anybody who worked with me can tell you, I didn't shortcut a lot.
Sure.
I shortcut where I knew I could get away with it, nobody get hurt.
Yeah.
But a fireboss is your most important guy, because if he initials for that, say me and you are going into bolt a place, if he initials that,
I ain't going nowhere now, but
well, you know what I mean. Damn it. But if he initials, say that our mine foreman just randomly calls me and you in to bolt 2 places that didn't get bolted on a Friday, and we're not working Saturday, and he calls me and you in, and he's going to section boss while we do it, and calls the fire boss in, the fire boss, or he does it himself. Say the foreman, say the foreman goes in, because they're, once you climb the ranks, fire boss, section boss, once you get 3 years in, you can do either one of them. You don't get your foreman card, I think, until 5 or 7 years. I think it's 5 years. But you can do anything. So he says, "All right."
That's what my mom said too.
Yeah.
You can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah. So say the foreman's like, "It's Saturday. It won't take him 20 minutes to bolt this. Fuck it. I'm just going to ride right up there and hit everything." Well, he rides right up there and he hits the power center, and he initials it, and it's fine, But we go up there and we turn the bolter on, and we cut the corner. We cut the cable. Cable circuits back to the power box, and power box blows up. Just as an example.
My colorblind ass would have done that.
Just as an example, because it was an issue with the power center. Like, maybe the cable was cut right next to the power center, and when it blowed and it sparked, that's what blowed the power center. And them's just sneaky, man. If they think for a second they can prove that it was somebody else's fault, they will.
Somebody else's
You
fault.
know, and say say that power center blows up and something falls and we're stuck. That's on him.
Sure.
It ain't on us. It's on him. Even if I'm the one that's driving the boulder and I cut the corner and cut the cable into a million fucking pieces, it's still on him. Cable's on me, but the responsibility lies on him.
Right.
Because he put his men in that situation. He stated that it was safe for them to go in there. And that's
a whole lot of liability.
Yeah. That's why I've always said, I see them as the police, so to speak.
They make sure the scene's safe.
Yeah.
So everybody else can go in.
Same with the section.
It's a lot of responsibility to have on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd like that part.
Well, most of your fire bosses, though, they don't do a whole hell of a lot. I'll be honest. That was the job I was shooting for.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Quadcast.
Remember, breaking stigma doesn't stop when the episode ends. We're building a movement, and you're a part of it. Stay strong, stay aware, and stay connected.
And this is the Quadcast signing out.